I'm Kristen Schneider Baldwin. I'm a CPRA, so certified research administrator and certified pre-award research administrator. I'm assistant director of the Office of Sponsored Research and Programs at MSU Denver. I'm also the proposal development specialist for university centers, initiatives, and programs. And so I help faculty find and submit proposals to federal and local and state funding sources. And I also help them find those sources using Pivot, which is the same tool that I'm going to be showing you how to use today. Let me go ahead and try to share my screen with you. Okay. Do you see a PowerPoint? Okay, I hope that's a yes. Okay, so today we're going to spend the next hour or so going over the Pivot Funding Opportunity Database. Here is our agenda for today. We're going to take a look at a couple of the search functions in Pivot. So the quick search, advanced search, and then the sponsor search. We're going to create a basic search template. I'm going to quickly go over sharing, tagging, saving opportunities, and then I'll briefly touch on Pivot profiles, advisor, and curated lists. And then hopefully we'll have some time for questions. Please interject if you can't hear me or if my screen's not showing what it should be showing. Right now it should be showing a PowerPoint. Okay, so an overview of Pivot. It's the most comprehensive source of funding opportunities available on the web. It's way more efficient than Googling. It's a global database packed with 28,000, actually that figure's outdated, it's actually 28,000 records of funding, and I think now it contains 93 billion worth of funding opportunities. It has 15,000 international and national sponsors, including government agencies, private foundations, corporations, and nonprofit organizations. There's all sorts of categories of sponsors, both public and private. All disciplines are represented. It has funding for many different purposes, such as grants, fellowships, capital improvements, travel, artistic pursuit, training, and more. And it's edited daily by a group of editors and not just by a machine. So I sent an email yesterday that said how to create your account. Anyone with an @MSU Denver email address can access this database. It's something that OSRP provides to the institution via an institutional subscription. There's a lot of great features that we'll go over today. You can tag, track, and save specific opportunities. You can create and save funding searches, receive email weekly alerts. You can share some opportunities and list with other people via email, and you can also claim your profile to use the advisor feature. So if anybody did create an account, I would like to encourage you to sign on so you could try to follow along while I go over this. If you didn't and you want to go to the database while I do this presentation, you can use this email address. It's an old account that we created that you could use while we're doing the training. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over into the database. Okay. Can everybody see the database? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to start with the quick search feature, which is right here. This is Pivot, and the bar in the middle is the quick search. So quick search accommodates Boolean terms like and or not. It also allows for wildcards. So for example, if you put an asterisk after education, EDUCAT, that would start searching for every combination that starts with that. So educating, educator, education, etc. So if I just type that real quick and hit go, you get nearly 4,881 searches. There's lots of ways that you can narrow those down. In quick search, you can use two words are joined together with or, but if you use quotes, that would make it an exact phrase. So science education, for example, would return results for science or education, or science education in quotes would search for those exact phrase. So you can also narrow it down by using the things over here on the left. Those are called facets. they will drill down your search terms by everything that you see on the left. So you have different funding types are represented. You can drill it down by whether you want to search for a public funding opportunity or a private. You can narrow it down by the different types of applicant types. So for example, you can search for ones that are applicable only to undergrad students or early career professionals, and so on. The only thing that you can't drill down on the left here is activity location. So in order to do that, you would go to this button up here, which is an advanced search. Advanced searches allow you to create customized searches with a variety of search fields that you can select from. So you can see up here it says match all the fields is more like an and operator, or match any will be like an or. Let's take a look at some of these fields. They're pretty self-explanatory, I guess, except for maybe limited submission. That just means only one application is allowed per institution. So that's probably not very applicable if you're looking for undergraduate opportunities. But the ones I usually select are activity location, citizenship or residency, keywords or free text, and the applicant type. So let's start out by selecting the activity location. We're going to go ahead and type in Colorado. So by default, these things are selected. A sub-entity of Colorado would be like every county or any county within Colorado. A super entity would mean like the United States, because we are obviously part of the United States. So I always keep those things selected. Unspecified are just for those records where the funder hasn't taken the time to specify where the grant can occur. So if you do select that, you will get some results that are not applicable because they could take place elsewhere. It's just that activity location field will be blank. So I would leave it like that. Next, we're going to put residency citizenship. So we'll do states. So we're going to select that. So application. Did it not? Okay, I did select it. You can notice that it's over here. It has been selected. So applicant type. This is just going to vary based on what you're searching for, but I always select academic institution. If any of these other things are applicable to you, obviously select them. We select nonprofit because a lot of the funding opportunities that go through our institution, we run them through the foundation. So I would select nonprofit. In your case, as undergraduate students, you would obviously want to select that. If you're a faculty member, though, you would want to select any of these other ones. Mid-career, early career, emerging in field are usually for faculty members that have got their PhD within the last 7 years. So you would just select all the things that are applicable to you. I think so. Now let's scroll up and make sure we've selected 4 things. And then the last thing that we need to do is select the keyword or the free text. So now we're going to define our topics. Keywords are categories of broad funding and area of interest. So if we scroll down here, you can see keywords. There are about 3,200 keywords in this database. So I'm going to type in education. And you can see here all of the different subcategories of education. And if I click go, and if you click explode, it will include everything beneath that category. And now I'll try to search. So searching for all of these things that you see up here, those were everything that we built into our search. It has all of those categories. All of these search results have been included. Okay. So now we can save, just to give you a sense of what you can do next. You could save this search. We could call it basic education template. Okay. We're going to return to the search and personalize it later. But let's say that we wanted to only search for science education. So in this field, we can type in, I've already done this search before, you can tell, STEM or STEAM, so that it's actually searching for that specific type of education that we're interested in. Down here, there's a whole category where you can exclude opportunities. So for this, we would want to exclude, for example, cell, if we aren't looking for stem cell research, or plant, if we aren't looking for anything related to stems of a plant. We could put that down here. Another example of where you might use exclude is if you're searching for obesity and you only want to research adult obesity, you might put that there. You might exclude childhood. Or you could also, instead of excluding things down here, you could go up here to the search function and put something like STEM, not cell. That would have the same exact results. So let's narrow this search down so it's science related. Okay, so now we have 136 results that are science related. Let's take a look at what the result list looks like. So now note that you can sort by all sorts of things up here. You could sort it by deadline. If you really want to find something that's coming up soon, you could sort by deadline. You can sort by amount. Let's take a look at one of these funding records. Okay, so here is what a funding record looks like. It will tell you the funder name, the amount, where the location of the research can happen or the activity can happen. You'll see that it has these more buttons, so you can expand the record. And then it has the keywords. So we searched for STEM education, and you'll see that's why this record came up. And keywords are really helpful because sometimes it'll give you some suggestions of other words that you could be searching for to come up with the same kind of records. So those are really helpful. Down here, it shows you the deadline and the next anticipated deadline if they haven't actually released a date. So let's just pretend that you like this record and that you would like to track it. Tracking it is a way of keeping track of multiple records, and then tagging is a way that you can kind of organize those records, like putting a label on a file folder. Okay, so right now we're tracking it, but it doesn't actually have any label associated with it. So if we would like to name it something, we would go ahead and we would add a tag. Since I've done this in the past, it already has this, what I would normally tag it with, which would have been STEM. But you could go here and select, let's say that this is the first time you're using your account, you could go ahead and put add tag and then type in something that helps you identify what exactly, why you want to track that. Like this looks like it's an embassy opportunity, so you might want to put in there it's a federal opportunity, so we could add a tag like STEM, perhaps federal. One thing to note is that if you put a space, it's going to create additional two separate tags, so you might just want to group them by doing an underscore. Or group them all together and just capitalize STEM and federal, just so that they're all grouped together. So we could say apply. Okay. So that's how you would tag a record. You can also tag and track things from the results list. So let's go back. For the search results. Okay, so we can select opportunities to tag from within this. So if you scroll down and you see that there are multiple opportunities that you would like, you can select those from here. Let's say we like this one. This one is also a federal opportunity. It's from the it's from NSF. So we could click up here and say that we want to track that one. Clicking the top actually tags everything. So I'm just going to click this button up here, track, and you'll see it now added the some ones that we had put in together. So I'm going to put create new tag, and I'll just call this one STEM underscore NSF. Oops, F. We'll create that. So once you've created your tags, you'll notice that when you go up to tag things, they'll start auto-populating. So now we can go home just to show you, and you can see some of the tagged records. So this is what the home page looks like. Okay, so you'll see some of the ones that we had tracked earlier. There's our NSF STEM. And just like the other funding opportunity results list, you can sort by things such as the deadline and the title, and it's all pretty similar to the main page. Over here there's an options list, which is pretty handy. You can add it to your calendar. If you click this feature, you can say add to the calendar. You could say add it to your Outlook calendar right here, and it auto-populates. I don't know if you can, if it will show down here, but it's creating an Outlook reminder that has the deadline and everything auto-populated there. So that's kind of a handy feature. Okay, so the third way that you can search for funding opportunities is going by searching by sponsor. So you go back to the funding page, and so funder or sponsor, those are similar words for the same thing. So you could search by funder. Let's say that you were at a conference and somebody mentioned a new funding opportunity sponsored by the Department of Energy, and you couldn't remember the name of it, but you know who it is. So you could go to U.S. government funders, and you'll see it has a list of all of them, alphabetical. So I would go down to the U's, and you'll see that it has all the different agencies. So here's the Department of Energy. You would click on that, and then it will show you all of the current or upcoming funding opportunities for the Department of Energy. You'll see that just like on the other pages, you can select things. Let's say you like these three. You can go up here, and not only can you track them as we did in the last example, but you can share them with anyone, even non-Pivot members. Searches you can only share with other Pivot members, but individual opportunities you can share with anyone. So I'm going to type my name, and it found me right there. And you can select that and just test. When you try this out, I would just suggest that you send it to yourself just so you can see what it looks like, and hit send, and it tells you you've successfully shared them. So close that. So right here, not only can you share the opportunities, you can also export them as in a like truncated list, but you can also save and you can share this search. So let's go ahead and save the search. Okay, so we can call this one, let's call it U.S. Department of Energy. Select this since I'd already typed this search, but just to give you an idea, you type in what you want it to be called right there, and you say save. Okay, so let's go just make sure that that actually saved. We're going to go back home. And go to save searches. And so you'll see that the one we created at the beginning where we really didn't specify much except for the words education and the location and the fact that we were an academic institution that had this many results, and that has saved there. And now we have this new one that we just created that has the Department of Energy. You'll notice right here that it says new results for May 1st. These searches will run themselves every Sunday, and it will tell you, it will match all of the criteria that you have specified, and any new results on a weekly basis, it will notify you that, hey, we ran it this Sunday and we got X number of new ones, which is really kind of handy because it does the work for you. Okay. So the last features, a few features I'm going to go over are more applicable to faculty, but some of them, such as the advisor feature, is still relevant to undergrads. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I'm going to start with the profiles. So profiles are mainly for faculty. It's based on data found on our university websites, publication, and award history. So the people at Pivot initially built the profiles for faculty, but by claiming them or creating a new one, you can go ahead and start specifying things about yourself, areas that you're interested in, and then Pivot will match those areas with things that you specified in your profile. So by claiming it, you can view suggested funding opportunities, and it allows other people to identify you. Other people across the world that have Pivot can then identify you as a potential partner or just somebody that shares similar interests. You will see that you can claim a profile or create a profile here. And let's just search for Rebus. Okay, so it's finding you. And you'll see it's just got some basic information. Whatever's publicly available on our university website is what this is pulling. And even without claiming your profile, it has 9 funding opportunities that it's matching just based on some words in your profile here. So the more complete your profile is, the more precise the funding opportunities will be from Advisor, which is their auto-populated feature of searching for opportunities based on what's in your profile. In addition to the opportunity that the advisor suggests, you can use your profile search tool, as I said, to locate other faculty across the world with similar opportunities, which is really handy because you can also look and see what funders, what grants they've gotten in the past, and that would give you an idea of possible funding sources for your own work. So let's do we could do a profile search based on area of interest. We can go up here, we could say STEM and search. So you can see that it is finding people at our own university, faculty members that have an interest in STEM or have been funded by areas STEM related fields. And you can see that it's only searching here, but if you click outside institutions, you're going to find 154,000 funding opportunities related to STEM. You'll see though that some of these have STEM in their name, so we can actually refine the search. And exclude STEM from the scholar name. So it shouldn't be searching for anybody that is only being returned because their last name has some combination of the letter STEM in it, and it did. So that refined our results to about 90,000. So some of these you can click on. Let's just check out this person. And he has obviously built his profile out quite extensively. And you can see that it shows his personal website, his CV, his areas of interest, his affiliations. But what I find the most helpful in this profile is this section, grants. So right here it shows you that this guy has 56 awarded grants, and it tells you what funding agencies awarded these, which, as I said, could be really, really handy if you know the kind of area of research you're interested in, but you don't know who funds that. Well, you can search for that area of interest and then see the different types of funders. So this person obviously has a lot of National Institute of Health, but it could give you an idea of which programs to pursue within the National Institute of Health. So it's a relatively new feature, but I think it's a really kind of cool one. So hopefully you'll explore that one. The last feature I'm going to take a look at before we kind of just do questions and talk about individual search options is a curated list. So we'll go back to funding. It's kind of curated list is a new, fairly new feature that I would like to explore more of. Right now, I just created one for a specific area at MSU Denver, which was somebody wanted to know anything that could be a possible funding source for the draft beer program. So I created one, and occasionally it updates. As I said, it updates every Sunday, and we'll send some new results. But it's a way for me as the administrator to kind of create different funding searches that'll automatically run. And I think our goal would be to create one for each department. So you might see more of these curated lists in the future as we get some time to start creating some more tailored ones based on topics. So before we get to questions, I just want to talk about some tips. I think a great place to start exploring your own in this database would be if you have followed along and created that basic education template, I would start there and first refine it based on your own area of interest, because we've already specified up here, you know, that we're a nonprofit or an academic institution, an undergrad, so on and so forth. So that would be a good place to start refining it. Or you could just build a new search with those 4 options selected. And then some final tips. Many funders do not specify the exact type of research they fund, so it's better to try to stay broader disciplines, such as instead of searching zebra mussels, for example, where you might not get any results, but that doesn't mean there aren't any grants out there that would fund zebra mussel research. You might just have to search under zoology or marine biology, for example, to have a good match. So if you were not finding anything, I would suggest trying to go more broad. So go search in broader fields with your project. Try searching in a variety of ways. If searching by keywords doesn't work well, then try the free text. So up here. So what I'm saying is if you search down here and nothing is happening, you're not finding anything when you do it by keywords, then go up here and search those words in the free text. But keep in mind that if you're going to type in more than one word, like marine biology, that you need to put it in those quotations so it doesn't give you results that either have marine or have biology. So keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is if you locate a grant that matches what you're looking for, you should scroll down and see what key terms were at the bottom of that record, because that will give you a lot of different ideas of things you could be searching for that maybe you hadn't thought of in the past. So that is Pivot in a nutshell. So do you guys have any questions?
Oh, my camera's still off. Sorry. I don't have a question at this time. I don't know if anybody has a question. If we do, I can definitely collect the questions and send them your way.
Okay.
And maybe send an email.
Okay, that sounds great. And then my contact information was in the calendar invite. So if you guys have any questions or want some help creating your own searches, I would be happy to do so. Yes, there's a question.
It's not really a question, but I just wanted to mention that I think it's good that Professor Rivas recorded this, or you recorded it, because for me, everything that you just showed me is really interesting, but there were a lot of steps. And I wonder how many steps I'm going to remember, so I may have to go back to your recording to refer, like, what exactly do I do to do that?
Okay.
Bookmark
Yeah.
it, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But,
there's a lot involved. There's a lot of different features, but that's kind of why I just try to say select 4 things. Just where you are, what you are, like an undergrad, what you want to fund, and the location, your eligibility. So those 4 options. I think if you just select those, and then the keyword or the free text. So those 4 things. Everything else you could probably ignore.
okay.
If you're not a faculty member, you don't care about profiles and stuff. If just to do an individual search, if you select those 4 things, I think you'll find it a lot easier. And then you can refine it if you get so much stuff that's not relevant.
Well, that's helpful. And I went in and created an account. So I'm looking forward to going in and playing with it and trying to get used to it with those 4 things in mind. So thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for creating an account. I would definitely want to get more people to use Pivot. It's a great system. It's overwhelming, but it's great.
Okay, I'll play with it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
No, but that was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, and don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.